Yo, absolutely. Drew Titan Bronson on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we back in the cave. Me and my brother, Act Reacher in the building. What's good, bro? You on mute.
What's good, bro? What's good, bro? My fault. Pardon me. I don't know. My mute, everything else working good. My mute button on delay for some reason. But I'm here. Just give me a second. I'll be right there. Salute everybody, chat, and you, man. This is gonna be a good one.
Hell yeah. Let's see what we got in the building. My brother Pooh Man, salute. Negos, what's going on, good brother? Jamel, Michael Fleming, Adrian Vett, Mark, Dr. Mark in the building, G. McCall, Eric H. Thomas, what's going on? Oh, no doubt, good brother. No doubt, good brother. Bert in the building, Antonio MMA. What's going on? Shogun, Mark Wonderlick, Sensei, Stormy B-Man's in the building. Young Deezy, Black Alpha, Rod Neal, Jose Diaz, Healer. See my nerds coming through. Salute to y'all. Jose Diaz. The Queen is in the building. Salute. Derek Gaines, the legend. Mr. Shelton, my brother. Salute. Jeff Spark. Rampage. Salute. Tiago Rose, what's going on? How you? All right, man. Smash the like button. No smoke in the building. What's going on? Smashing like David Scott the third. Yo, listen, we're going to have some fun this morning. Now, listen, ES, what's going on, sis? Now, listen. We had to narrow it down to 10 because, I only have but so much time. I know right now, the title, I'm not saying these are the best of all time because right now, first of all, there's like 7 different generations in the chat right now. Some of you cats was born in the early 2000s. Some of you cats was born in the late 90s, mid 90s, early 90s. I was born in the 70s. So I've seen everything from my era all the way up till now. There's some badass fight scenes from Westerns that I missed. I'm sure of it. Listen, there's things that I wanted to put up here that y'all'll be like, what the fuck? But yo, they were dope to me. So I just told Ack, I say, yo, pick 5. And I'm gonna pick 5. And we're gonna have 10 altogether. And this is definitely something we could revisit. Definitely something, because there's millions of fight scenes that you've seen, whether it was cartoons, like regular live action, foreign films, I don't give a fuck. You know what I was gonna put up here? And it didn't make the, you know what? We're gonna revisit this. We're gonna have to, because we had to narrow it down to 10. Right now, there's probably a foreign film that we've never seen before. There might be, like one of our brothers in the chat is from Cuba. There might have been something that came on TV down there, had a dope fight scene, but it never aired in America, or if we aired, we never saw it. Because we don't watch like, some of us watch, Galavision, or you know what I'm saying? There's probably something there that we never saw. And if it is, share it. You know what I'm saying? And it's all good, man. It's all good, man. I got the damn wrong banner up here. There you go. So we're gonna start, man. We're gonna start. Yeah, I already see name, bro. I already see it, bro. All right, yo, Stormy. I know, bro. But I tried. When you have to narrow it down to 5, you put up the 5, and you're like, damn. But then what about this? And then what about that? So it was hard. I said, man, actually, a show like this got to be like a 5-hour show. But we only got about an hour. So I told my brother Act to pick 5, and I picked 5. But these aren't the creme de la creme. Some of it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's dope. A lot of it, you're going to be like, okay. But I'm sure everybody, this is like a pound for pound list, but mine's is no particular order. They're no particular order. You know what I'm saying? They're no particular, because when I sat back, it was difficult, man.
Hard. It was hard.
It was difficult
because I was like, damn, I gotta leave this out now since you told me that it was only 5. Like, I ain't gonna front. Jet Li originally had 2 spots on my list.
I
was like,
I know, bro.
I like more.
Yo,
that's how you can tell my age. You know what I mean? He had 2.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Know. It was ridiculous. I said, man, you know, people, you're gonna enjoy the show, but then at the same time, you're gonna be like, man, what about this and what about that? It's like, oh man, it's crazy. So we're gonna get started. And please, y'all don't get mad at me, because I know I that was my disclaimer. There's so many things I had to leave off because we had to narrow it down to 10. You know what I'm saying? Salute, Robert. Salute, Sam Mac. I see you guys. All right, so here we go, y'all. Please don't get mad at me. My disclaimer is we had to condense it to 10, and these aren't even the top 10 best. Some you might be like, oh yeah, that was dope. All right. Kane was good. Chilltown Majors was going on. Oh, see, look, Jose Diaz said there's this area in Cuba that they got so much money. Castro's son has 20-something cars. Wow, Bugatti, Lamborghinis, everything. Niggas be having money in, yo, man, don't undermine the other countries, man. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Trying to tighten some of the family up here. All right, man, let's get started, bro. All right. So these 10 greatest fights from any genre. All right? Any genre. These are fights that stuck out. All right? So let's get to the smoke. Queen, salute. Let's get to the smoke. This is no particular order. Now, if you saw this, I'm going to tell you why this fight was insane. Yoda versus Count Dooku. I saw this in the movies. Let me explain why this is insane. Now, some of you younger cats, y'all might, P-Depths, what's going on? Y'all might be like, well, damn, you know, Star Wars franchise, it might be corny to you by now. We got to understand, I was a child when the original movies came out. And by the time we got to Empire Strikes Back, we were introduced to Yoda. And Yoda was this short little green nigga that lived in the swamp. And he was a clowny. And then you find out when Luke crash lands on the planet that he was the Jedi Master that he was looking for. But when you say, I'm looking for this Jedi Master, you think it's some big, brolic dude that can do amazing things. And the trick was, to be a Jedi Master, it had nothing to do with your physical appearance. And you say, you find out, wait a minute. It's this short little green nigga. I could field goal this nigga. Come to find out, Yoda was this, like, he was that dude. So you heard stories about, you even heard about the Clone Wars in the original Star Wars. Luke says it to Kenobi. He says, you was at the Clone Wars? You was told about these things. When they released the episode 1, 2, and 3, it was telling a backstory about what they were talking about in the original 3 movies, which came out in the 70s. So I went to go see the original, the next 3 movies, because I wanted to know the backstory. So you heard that Yoda was this badass, but man, he was a fucking puppet in 1983. It's like, come on, this guy's a badass. So this was episode 2. You know, Anakin was having these, you know, titty fits and meltdowns. Dooku was his former apprentice. He cuts off Anakin's arm, floors him, beats up Obi-Wan. They're about to die. Yoda walks in on a cane. And we in the theater like, oh boy, here we go. Because prior to this scene, we didn't see Yoda do shit. The only thing we was amazed at was the levels, the leaps and bounds CGI took. Because now they brought that puppet to life. And it looked real. So now here comes Yoda on this cane. So we're snickering in the theater like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? So then they start battling with the Force. So Dooku's using Force lightning, and that's only that some Sith Lords could do. You have to be in tune with the dark side. So he throws some force lightning at Yoda. Yoda catches it. We're like, oh shit. So then Dooku uses the force to throw some big shit at him, and then he stops it. He's like, oh shit. So he says, well, you know, I see this is not gonna, you know, we're not gonna solve this with our knowledge of the force, but our lightsabers. So Dooku pulls out his lightsaber. Yoda opens up his robe, has this little ass lightsaber, holds his hand out, and it comes to his hand. I was like, oh shit. And then you hear the music. And then he holds it, and then he goes, yeah! And he starts flipping around the screen and shit. We were like, oh shit! Yo, he scared the shit out of Dooku. He tried to drop a pillar on Anakin and Obi-Wan just so he can get away. He wanted no smoke with Yoda. None. And Yoda had 2 fights in this film. And I was like, man, hold on. I said, you know what? Thank you, Stormy. Much to learn you still have. He was about to fuck Dooku up. That nigga had to bounce. He had to bounce. And the second fight he had was with Palpatine at the end. But the reason why I chose this one was because this was the fight that let us know how much of a badass Yoda was. And by then, Yoda was already like 500 years old. So if they do a whole series about young Yoda, he might be even badass. We don't know. Yoda like 1,000 years old, legitimately. It's crazy. When he walked in to fight Palpatine, those 2 red guards that were there, he walks in on his cane, they look down, he slams them on the wall and knocks them out with the force. Ain't nobody fucking with Yoda. And Yoda is in touch with his dark side too. So this right here, this was I remember seeing this in the movie, the theater erupted. I mean, this was classic. This was a classic thing to see. Do you remember this? You got any thoughts on this?
Come on, Drew. You know, Star Wars. First of all, you forgot one key part. That was Yoda's apprentice. That was
I said that.
Who was under. Oh, okay. Because that was his apprentice. That's what he had to, you know. So we get like a backstory. If you get the comic books, they go on that a little bit more before Dark Tyrannus turns into Count Dooku. It becomes a Sith Lord and all of that. But I gotta keep it real. This fight scene was definitely dope. I was young. I was a little kid when this came out. I know you was in the theater live, you know what I mean, when this came out, so you was able to take it in more, you know what I mean. But I watched all of them, the old ones up into here. I did think that this was one of the best fight scenes, but my personal favorite is actually in the third one, in Revenge of the Sith, in the beginning when Obi-Wan and Anakin fight Dooku. I actually like that scene more. And Anakin chops off his head, and you know what I mean? I didn't think, and when I first seen that, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought Obi-Wan was going to do what he usually do, chop off somebody's limbs, leave him without a leg, the usual, because Obi-Wan don't play no games. He a gentleman, but he will chop off some limbs if you go too far. You heard? Yeah, he will chop off your limbs. You know what I mean? But this time, Anakin, you know what I mean, being young and in his prime, he had to save the day. You know, and he chopped off Dooku's head, no problem.
There was like I said, we definitely got to revisit this, because to keep it narrowed down to 10 is really a crime, because there's so many other things we left off from different genres. You know what I mean? But we had to start somewhere. So this was one off the top of my head. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is no particular order. We just picked up 10. And like I said, we're going to revisit this. And I guess when we revisit this, when I announce it again, we're about to do it. What I'll do is I'll let y'all email me. Email me one fight that stands out. and I'll accredit you in the chat for, okay, this is what, like, for example, this is what Derek Gaines sent me. You know what I'm saying? And we'll do another 10. And like I said, we only here for about an hour, so we had to narrow it down to 10. So next fight. Come on, y'all. If y'all ain't see this fight, go ahead, bro. Talk about it.
Well, Blade versus Nomak. These was like mutated vampires in the second one. First of all, I feel kind of bad because Wesley could have made the list. He could have had he could have damn near been on most of the list in all of the Blade series. I'm gonna keep it real. He whooped a lot of ass in these Blade films. And the choreography was amazing. This was one of the first DVDs that I got as a kid. You know what I mean? So Blade, listen. Basically, Nomak, they feed on other vampires. They're a mutated version of the vampires, and they basically feed off of vampires. But the plan was to stop them right then and there, because once they got done feeding on all the vampire, who would be next? The humans. And Blade and I believe Ron Perlman, they all assembled like a team, you know what I mean? And they end up basically betraying a Blade, and then Blade, has to go against that team, and he ends up having to fight Nomak at the end. You know what I mean?
There's one part of this movie. He was
the original one.
There's one part. Yeah, he was the original of the virus, but there's one part of this movie that completely sucked. It sucked so bad. You want to know what it was?
Which part? Which one?
Now, I spoke to Stormy about this a long time ago. Donnie Yen was in this movie, and we didn't get to see him do shit.
He wasn't he? Who did he? Yep. What? Dang, now I gotta rewatch. Now we'll have to pay attention.
He's the only Asian guy in the film. When he walks in and they introduce Blade to all the dudes, Donnie Yen sat there and went like this. And I said, "Oh shit, that's Donnie Yen. It's over." And when when they attacked, Blade walked in the room and this nigga was eating his neck, killed him.
Oh, okay. I gotta pay attention to that.
I think Donnie Yen choreographed the fight scenes for this film.
Okay.
And I'm like, why didn't we get to see him do anything? I felt robbed, bro. I felt robbed. That sucked. We didn't get to see him do anything. Damn it. I guess he didn't want to overshadow him. I don't know, man.
True.
I don't know.
I think that would have been a dope scene between Wesley and Donnie Yen. So, this was definitely probably my favorite Blade of the series. As far as action, the first one was good too. It's always hard for me to pick between, but I just like this one. I just love how what I mean when he has to drink the blood, Drew. For some reason, he be on a different type of time. You know what I mean? And then this one, he fell in the pool of blood. Remember, Whistler had to push him in there. He got out. Can you blush? Me and my mom used to always get hyped. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
That's funny, man. That was funny, man. But this right here, I saw this in the theaters, man. And it's not often that you're that impressed with an original that you're more impressed with a sequel. Blade 1 was Blade 1 at sidebar. Blade 1 saved the MCU. They're killing themselves now.
Yes. Talk.
Yep.
Talk to him.
Blade 1 saved the MCU. MCU was dead and stinking until Blade came out.
Yeah. I think they was going to file for bankruptcy around that time.
Yeah, it was almost over.
Somebody told me that. Yeah.
Somebody it was almost over. And Wesley
said Wesley don't get no credit.
That's what I'm saying.
That's before you see comic book movies every year.
Word.
That's before you start. That was really my era when you start seeing comic book movies every year, different ones, DC and Marvel going back and forth with it. You ain't used to see them come out every year in Jerusalem.
Right. When Blade came out, Blade 1, bro, the beginning of the film got you hooked. You're like, even if you didn't know anything about comics, you didn't know nothing about this character, because Blade, the character, was old. That character came out in the 70s. And even if you wasn't familiar with anything, you enjoyed that film. And it's hard. When they announced Blade 2, I said one is gonna be hard to top. And they did it, man. They nailed it with this. Man. And I was like, man, I was impressed. They didn't explain how Jared Nomak knows the Kung Fu. They didn't explain any of that shit, but I didn't care. But this was dope. When the movie started and they yanked him off the street and he's like, please, no. And they was like, no, this ain't gonna hurt. They're saying something. And then he started laughing.
Yeah, they played a good job. I believed it.
Yeah.
He looked like laughing. Something was about to happen.
They was like, yo, what are you laughing at? Bro, he ate their ass. And I was like, oh shit, he's worse than them. The plot was crazy. And the fight scenes, when you go back and look at the CGI back then, it was kind of like cringe, but they nailed it. This is a dope ass film. And this fight, the last fight, when you remember when he grabbed Blade and he swung him into the pillars and shit, I was like, oh my God, they nailed everything about this film, man. Everything. I felt like I was reading a comic book when I was watching the fights. Man. Yo, the MCU needs to get their baddest chicks of the MCU and line up and blow Wesley Snipes. Blow him and say thank you. He gave y'all life. Shout out to Wesley Snipes. Word up. So next fight, Tay-Tay, salute, ex-wife, what up? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this right here. All right, soak it in. If you're my age, this fight right here shook the world.
Where Cadillac Red at?
Yo,
my older brother too. Bro? My older brother too. They love the Ultimate Warrior. I can tell they age. Yo, you don't understand the Ultimate Warrior. You don't understand. My older brother always told me that.
Oh, Mr. P. Dep says Jared Nomak is English from Essex from Group Bros. Yeah, I was always wondering.
I always wonder, because I never seen who the guy was. I might look that up. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna look him up, man, like because you know what?
In the cast.
To put Wesley to have that amount of success, you know, we never talk about the actor. And that's a bit unfair. Thank you, Mr. P. Deps. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do some research on him because he was a hell of a villain in that film. Yeah, thank you for that, man. I'm gonna do some more research on him. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. He made the movie, man. Hell yeah. Thank you, Mr. P. Deps. I appreciate that. This was WrestleMania 6. Oh, he's a twin? Mr. P. Deps says he's a twin. Damn. Wow. There was two of them. So this right here, well, sidebar, y'all know Gennady Golovkin is a twin, right? You know there's two of them niggas running around, right?
Yeah, he is. Yup. His brother.
Triple G is the fighter, though. He's a twin. So Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. Listen. We already knew who Hulk Hogan was. He was already a legend, right? He was a legend in the sport. He brought wrestling to a level that no one thought it could reach. Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan, he was in the business about over a decade before his name popped in the WWF back then. And he found the gimmick and, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and you're a real American. If you watch wrestling back then, Whenever Hulk Hogan came out and you heard that theme music and you heard those guitars as a kid, you got hype. Hulk Hogan was America's hero. All right. He had a Saturday morning cartoon, Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. The kids loved him. And one thing I respected about Hogan was that when you saw the kids around him, it was every ethnicity. It wasn't only white kids. Black, white, brown, Asian. Hulk Hogan was a hero's hero. The yellow and red attack, man. This guy, he was it, right? And along that time, at the height of his popularity, this guy came along called the Ultimate Warrior. And if you know, you know. This guy would run to the ring. And I know all of these guys had gimmicks prior to who they turned out to be, but this is why this is important. This guy would run to the ring, had zero skills, and he would just clothesline you to death and gorilla press you and drop you on your ass and pin you. And for some reason, it stuck. And he was also what they call in the wrestling business a baby face. What does that mean? It means a good guy. He was a good guy. And people loved it. His interviews were legendary because they were incoherent at times. It was funny as hell. I used to watch it every Saturday morning, and my mother would look at the screen and be cracking up because she's like, yo, these niggas is my age running around acting the fool, but it's worth millions of dollars. And look at his physique. This dude was big as hell, right?
Drew, ain't another reason for his success is that Cable came out around this time? That's what my mother told me. You know what I mean?
Cable
was
TV?
Cable out? Yeah. Was Cable? Because that's what I always heard. Like Cable, like when he really blew up.
If I remember correctly, that by the time this came out, because WrestleMania 1 was at Madison Square Garden in New York. WrestleMania 2, I forget, but WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3, I think by the time this came out, Cable became a thing. And that was when you had more, you had easier outreach. And by the time WrestleMania 6 was out, they had developed pay-per-view already. And the technology got better. Don't quote me on all of this. We got to understand, when WrestleMania 1 came out, there was no pay-per-view. A lot of y'all don't know that. They had something called closed circuit. I know Dr. Mark knows about that. I know Stormy, myself. Some of this stuff you had to go to movie theaters to watch. And cable TV was around, but it took off. Do you know what an S-curve is? Like in business? It's an invention, and once it starts out, it's slow, but once it reaches the top, it reaches something called critical mass, where it's at the height of what it's going to be. So if you had invested in it at its lowest form, by the time it reached critical mass, you made a bunch of money at it. You understand? So cable TV has been around. You're right, Harvey M. It's been around since the 70s, but I think it reached a particular level by the time these guys got in the ring. So what I'm saying is people had more easier access to see this. By then, this was built up. It was like in boxing. That's why we compare boxing to professional wrestling today. They're trying to build these fights up. This was built up, and it was easier for people around the world to have eyes on this. People don't remember, Hulk Hogan was a heel when he came out in the 70s, when he had a full head of hair. People don't know he had a whole other career in Japan. People don't know the Ultimate Warrior, his name was the Dingo Warrior, and he was tag teaming with Sting, and they called themselves the Blade Runners. back in the AWA. I'm gonna do a whole wrestling show on that. So he reinvented himself, became the Ultimate Warrior, and he had a fan base. Yo, salute, Mr. P-Dubs. That's why we here. We nerding out. Salute. So he developed a different fan base. He had Hulkamaniacs and the Warriors. But the thing was, they were both baby faces. They were both good guys. And they built a little rift between them. And Hulk Hogan was this unstoppable force. Hulkamania running wild. And these guys fought. And the buildup was ridiculous. The buildup was ridiculous. And here's the thing. The unexpected happened on the biggest platform. WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan lost. We were like, what the fuck? It was crazy. How to fight. I'm going to ruin it for y'all. I just got to tell y'all this. First of all, this Hulk Hogan right here, Hulk Hogan is listed at about 6'7", right? I've been near him when I was a kid, but I was short, so everybody looked like about 9 feet tall. But he was listed at about 6'7". And this version of Hulk Hogan you see in the picture was about 320 pounds.
Yeah, he was crazy.
He was big. Ultimate Warrior gorilla pressed him. We didn't think he would pick him up for the finisher. Ultimate Warrior gorilla pressed him. He gorilla pressed him. Go watch the fight. It's on YouTube. He gorilla pressed him and dropped him. Now, here's the thing. Hogan had this thing where he would Hulk up and then he was untouchable. But another thing happened in this fight. Hogan missed his finisher, his leg drop. Warrior moved. He lands on his ass. Warrior rolls him over and pins him. It was a clean victory. And we were like, oh shit, he lost. He dropped the title. I was standing up in my living room like, yo, he lost. And then Hogan grabs the belt. And people were like, what is he going to do? Is he going to turn heel? We was like, man, he can't turn heel. That's Hulk Hogan. He hands Warrior the belt and they hug it out. It was like one of the greatest things you've ever seen. This right here was one of the greatest things you could ever see. The build up to this, the actual fight, the fact that Hogan dropped the title to the Warrior, this was insane. Did you watch this, At?
I may have watched it once. I don't remember it like that. The old ones that I do go back and watch, I can't lie, I love Ric Flair. You know what I mean? Around that time, I think, you know what I mean, it probably was between those two as the top guys from what my brother and my mom told me. Like Hogan definitely had it, but Flair on his side of things too. But I'm gonna go back and watch it though. I'm gonna go back and
yeah, bro. Yeah, I gotta do a whole wrestling show because just having this up there is paying homage. But there's a whole history, and it's probably things that a lot of people didn't know about the wrestlers how we know them now. You didn't know the beginnings from where they came from. Like I said, Hulk Hogan had a whole different career in Japan, and he had a whole different finisher and everything. All right, when he started his career, I believe he was called Terry Boulder, and his finisher was a clothesline. It was called the Axe Bomber, and he knocked out Antonio Inoki in Japan. It was crazy. But when I do the wrestling show, hell yeah. I'm gonna let you take this one, man.
Oh man. See, Tay, I don't hate on him all the time. Maybe I like this one because Superman dies. Maybe that's what. But Doomsday. This is 2008 one. You know what I mean? When I was a kid. So Doomsday. 2007. Doomsday versus Superman, and Doomsday basically he's invulnerable. The more you beat him up, the more he mutates and is able to withstand whatever you do. So Superman had a tough time. You know, it got to a point to where Superman had to fly him all the way up into the air and sacrifice himself. He ended up killing Doomsday, but he paid the price for it too. So, this is one, as far as cartoon wise, this is definitely one of my favorite fight scenes. I was trying to go all over with it. I was trying to show the cartoon some love too. Because I knew Drew had me with the live action. So I thought it was separate at first when Drew hit me up. I had a whole 5 for each side, y'all. But I was like, you know what? Let me put this one in there because as a kid, I really love this particular fight scene. So Superman Doomsday, it definitely stood out to me. And I gotta admit, from what they tell me when the comic book came out, it was a big deal when Superman died.
I got all of them.
It was the bestseller. Mm-hmm. It was a bestseller, but then again, I heard from the Superman fans that they were really like mad about that. And comic books, they always find a way to bring somebody back. So he ends up actually returning, and he has like what they call a Kryptonian death, where you don't really die. You just fall asleep for a little while.
You went into a coma.
Yeah, basically. So definitely. You got any comments on this, Drew?
Hell yeah. I don't think the animation did it justice, but I understand they did capture how dangerous he is, Doomsday. The comic book was crazy because it was the first time you actually saw one. You wasn't even sure if Doomsday was a villain because in the comic book they didn't give you any background on him. He just popped up. He's in a pit somewhere and he escapes. He's wrapped in this green suit with an arm behind his back, and he's punching, like he escapes from this thing. And he just comes out, and he's somewhere where a local hero goes to get him, and he's like, cut it out. And he knocks the shit out of somebody, and they was like, all right, we can't handle this. You got to call the Justice League. And all these heroes are coming up. The craziest part in the comic was when he got a hold of was it Blue Beetle? But it was somebody that's like human but doesn't have like powers. And he actually grabbed him and like threw him in the air, and he fell in a car, and he was like broke up and near death. And Guy Gardner, who's a Lantern, who at that time was one of the strongest people on site, tried to hold him, and he broke out that little green bubble, and then he ran up to Guy Gardner and punched him, and his face was all lumped up and he's dying. And then he threw Guy Gardner in the air somewhere or something. Now, who's the black guy that wore all white with the cape? I forget his name. But he summoned some power and hit Doomsday, and it didn't hear him flinch. And then he's like, yo, what creature could stand a punch from these gods? And then he punched the shit out of him and throws his ass somewhere. And at the end of that issue, Superman's in the air and he caught him. He was like, bro, we need you. I think it's Bolt. I'm not too... Okay. I'm more well-versed in Marvel than I am in DC, so forgive me. But I made sure I bought those comics. Superman goes down, and with each passing page, he realized, no, this shit is real. I ain't never faced nothing like this. And in the last issue, they're hitting each other so hard, windows are shattering in the building. Right? It got so real that the Justice League members looked and they were like, it doesn't even make sense for us to jump this dude. If Superman can't see this dude, look, it's like a 5-year-old trying to break up a fight between a brother and an uncle, and both of them niggas is like MMA fighters. What is a 5-year-old gonna do? It's like, just let it play out. They hit each other. Superman breaks his neck with a punch. Doomsday breaks his neck with a punch. He falls. Lois Lane runs over there and grabs him, and he gives some last words, and he dies. And that's the issue.
Yeah, facts.
Superman died. That shit made the news, like the real news. They're killing Superman. I said, yeah, okay, he'll be back next year. You know, and y'all know the story after that. But this right here was epic because they you gotta understand, the world was changing, and you had to understand entertainment. The people that were being entertained were not the same group from the 80s or 70s or 60s. It's like these kids today, they don't want to see an action movie unless there's some shit blowing up or somebody getting cut in half. But these kids are not as sensitive as we were when we were growing up. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, you have to up the ante. Your hero could die in the film or in the comic book, and they may or may not bring him back. You know, there might be an anti-hero. He's not a villain. He's not a hero. He's that shade of gray. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. 1 minute, like Lobo. 1 minute he's on your side. The next minute, he might cut your head off. It's like you don't know what he's about to do.
The main man.
The main man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this right here is an excellent pick. Superman versus Doomsday. Hell yeah. Main Biker, what's good, man? Now, good, for my OGs right here. For my OGs right here. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Billy Jack versus everyone. If y'all didn't see this movie, there's something wrong with y'all. From 1971, Billy Jack. I think he was a Green Beret. All right. He was white and Native American. Go watch the movie. All right. He was the short version. He was given he was in charge of a cultural school. You know, like I said, he's Native American. He's in this white town, and the pale faces were harassing the brown people. And he was trying to take the high road. He was trying to take the high road, and they kept harassing them, and it got more physical. And there was a scene where they ran up in their establishment and beat up one of the kids and threw them through a window. And he said, all right, enough's enough. And he takes off his shoes and he walks out into the park, and he goes up to, this guy he's kicking. He was like the boss or something. And he walks up to him and he says, I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to hit you right there in the face. He said something to that effect. He said, really? He said, really? And he kicked the shit out of him. And he's running through the park with no shoes on. And here's the interesting part. This is 1971, y'all. This was the original John Rambo. This was the original Steven Seagal because his discipline was Aikido. And he's Aikidoing people. He took this dude and threw him on the ground. His head hit the fucking side of the curb. He's chopping niggas and kicking it. Eventually, there was too many of them. They got him and they beat his ass. But in the movie, he actually went on a spree and took some of these dudes out. Like, he literally killed them. There was this one dude. It may have been this dude he's kicking. It may have been his son or some shit. But when he caught up to him, he gave him a Aikido chop in the neck and killed him. He was like, boom! And he was like, oh! And he killed him. I said, oh, shit. He started killing these dudes. This was before Rambo, y'all. This is 1971. Tom Laughlin was this actor's name. You can Wikipedia it. And then there was a sequel to this movie because he gets arrested at the end of this. And there's a sequel called The Trial of Billy Jack. But go watch this. All right, this is a throwback film. Didn't they grape his love interest in this too? I forget. But it was crazy. And he was taking the high road the whole film. And then he said, you know what? F it. You guys want smoke? And he brought it. He brought it, man. Ack, you never saw this, did you?
No, I never did, but it seemed interesting. It seemed like I gotta watch this. I gotta try to find it somehow, somewhere. Billy Jack.
Man.
It's called Billy Jack versus Everyone.
Nah.
That's the title.
It's called Billy Jack.
It's just Billy.
It's two films. It's Billy Jack, and part 2 is the trial of Billy Jack. But watch this one first, because it gives you the backstory, and you're gonna laugh because you know how the fight scenes were in the 70s. Sometimes they do shit and they slow the film down. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. But this right here, it talks about racism. And you see him. There's a scene where he gets so pissed off. He says, yo, you know what? I try and I try and I try. And he was so mad that when he lost it, the park scene, it's on YouTube, the park scene, he was beating their ass until they got the better of him. But it didn't even end there. Because then when he came back for more smoke, he literally said, yo, I got to kill these people. And he did. Billy Jack versus everyone. Billy Jack versus everyone in that damn park. Rick Blackwell, salute. Bro, this is a hell of a film, man. Hell of a film.
Wait, do he not got no shoes on?
Yeah, he took his shoes off. When he went to this they had like a store or something, and those crackers came in there and threw one of the kids through the window. So when he walked up and saw the melee, he said, all right, fuck it. He sat down and he took off his boots. And they were like, Billy, don't. He said, nope. And he walked outside with no shoes on. And you hear the 70s music. Dun-dun-dun. 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 And he walks to the middle of the park and he walks up to this Boss Hogg looking motherfucking cracker. And they have a
Billy Jack must be from Mississippi. Because his shoes is
Man, they had a little dialogue, and he kicked the shit out of him, and he starts roughing those crackers up. It was funny as hell, man. It was funny, but he got busy in that film, man. It's a great film though. Great message, and they covered a lot, man. It was dope. So I'll leave this to you right here. You're on mute, Act. There you go.
Am I off? Okay, my fault.
Yeah.
Like I said, the mute button is the only thing is acting up. So just give me a sec, I'll be there. But Afro Samurai versus Justice. Justice in the beginning. First of all, I don't know why they haven't had a live action film yet. I gotta bang the gavel on the creators. Like, this was a great anime, man, and it doesn't get a lot of, you know what I mean? Afro Samurai Resurrection. But a brief background story: Justice kills Afro Samurai's father because of the #1 headband. Whoever wears the #1 headband, they must fight the person that has the #2 headband. So basically, what ends up happening is that Justice, he has the #2 headband, and he kills Afro Samurai's dad, who has the #1 headband. And Afro sees this as a little kid, because Afro's single parent raising by his dad, basically, and he has no choice, and you have to honor that fight, no matter what or where you're at. And basically, Afro grows up with a vendetta, and his sole purpose is to fight Justice, to get revenge on behalf of his father. And at the end of the first one, when he ends up fighting Justice, man, it ends up being so legendary and epic, man. Voiced by Samuel L. Jackson, and Justice was voiced by Ron Perlman. Two dudes that Drew is definitely familiar with.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Soundtrack for Afro
just,
Samurai, performed by the RZA, of course.
By the RZA, yes,
Yep.
yes, sir, yes, sir. So, it was just an epic film, the first and the second one. I'm kind of mad it just got left there where it was at. You know what I mean? We didn't get no more. We didn't get the live action. Shoot, to all the producers, man, me and Drew would direct it.
Hell
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Me and Drew would get busted live. We get Michael John White.
Hell yeah.
And
Hey,
we'll
yo,
get busy.
do you remember the first episode? He tells him, it'll all be over in a minute, son. And then they had that last move.
That part always messed me up.
Bro, he fucking
and he chopped his head
decapitated the fuck out of him.
And as a little baby, Afro don't look no older than about 5, 6 years old. He was really young. And to see that,
he walked around with his dad's head in the bag.
In
all
the
that
bag.
time.
That's how you know that was his only parent.
Bro, that was grimy as hell. That was I said, oh shit, he need therapy. But
facts.
He got nice with it though. And then
he sure
when
did.
I'ma ruin it for y'all. I don't give a shit. When he catches up to Justice, you figure out how he got that shit off on his dad. He had a secret move. But the Afro saved him. Man. Woo! Afro Samurai. Great series. The art was great. Some of the shit will make you dizzy if you're too close to the screen. But goddamn, this was well written. This was well done. It's a basic kung fu flick, martial arts film. And it was very creative. You're not clear on what point of what era, what timeline this is. Could it be feudal China, Japan? And then you see things like, wait a minute, but they got guns and robots and shit. What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? It's great fantasy, man. But I appreciate that. And of course, I appreciate that the main character was black. I appreciate that, of course. But this was great. Afro Samurai was great, man. Loved it. So moving along. All right. Let me break this down. Now, first of all, Jotaro Kujo versus Dio Brando. Let me tell y'all something. This is from a series called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It is too much for me to get into to explain how it led up to this fight. But this is such an in-depth story. I can't explain it in under 5 minutes. I cannot. Just know this. This fight right here, and you can watch it on YouTube. Hold on. Oh yeah, Night Train, Born Loose. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yo, you're right. Billy Jack was spun off. Billy Jack was a character from Born Losers. I forgot about that. Oh man, so much. That's why I love this channel, man. So much to discuss.
Spinoffs back then.
Hell yeah.
Spinoffs back then.
Hell yeah. Billy Jack was in a movie called Born Losers. He wasn't the main character though, I don't think. And then they took him and oh man, so much to discuss, bro. Thank you, Night Train. Thank you. So now, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. All right, it's too much to discuss. But the guy on the left is named Jotaro Kujo. All right, he comes from the Joestar bloodline. All right, which they're damn near cursed. And you know you're a Joestar because all of them are born with a specific birthmark on the back of their neck, right? Now, they have a power that awakened in their bloodline called stands. The two characters standing there have stands. They're spiritual, like, They're like spiritual beings that come out of it's like a psychic ability, but only other stand users can see them. There's stand users all around the world, and somehow they all are connected to each other. Some of them fight and develop friendships. Some of them are mortal enemies. Now, let me explain what happens here. And this was one of the most creative things I've ever seen. Okay. Jotaro Kujo, right? His father, right? His father's father was named, what was it? Oh man, I don't want to fuck this up. Was it Jonathan Joestar? No, it wasn't Jonathan. Jonathan, okay, look. It's too much for me to get into right now. But understand this. His ancestor fought a guy named Dio Brando, who became a goddamn vampire. It's too much to get into, y'all. Dio Brando became a vampire. He put this mask on and it merged with him. And it was like an Aztec mask. He became a vampire, right? And he fought his father. His father developed some sort of power or whatever, and they were fighting, and they fought on a boat. And he decapitated Dio, right? But Dio was still alive. So now he's holding Dio's severed head, and the boat is exploding and is sinking. And Dio was adopted by the Joestar family, but Dio was a motherfucker. He was trying to take over the family's fortune because the Joestars was rich. So I'm skipping a lot of stuff, but at that first series, Jojo, well, they call him Jojo. Jojo was fighting Dio. He has Dio's severed head. Jojo dies, right? Joseph Joestar died. It's not Joseph. It's Jonathan Joseph. I'm getting the names mixed up. But he dies with holding Dio's head. He's holding his severed fucking head. The boat sinks. The series ends. Fast forward like a decade later, right? You go to Japan and you see this guy, Jotaro Kujo. He's in Japan. He locks himself up in a prison. Thank you, Young Dreezy. Joseph was the grandson. Jonathan was the first. Thank you. That's why I have the chat there. I don't want to get anything mixed up. Right? John was the first. Thank you, Bert. So this motherfucker, he's a teenager, right? So he locks himself in a prison. And the police is like, yo, this guy just locked himself in a prison, right? So I think Jonathan, who is his uncle or some shit, shows up and says, come out the prison, man. And he says, no, I've been possessed by a demon and it's dangerous. I'm staying here. So the police is like, yo, we can't get him to come out. But there is some shit wrong with him though. And they start talking about, yo, he went in there and shit start flying around. I ain't going near him. So Jonathan, who's like older now, he got a beard or whatever, and he's older now. I'm skipping a lot of stuff, y'all. Gio James, salute. Let me wrench my brother up real quick. So now his uncle says, come out. I know what's wrong with you. He says, no. This is some shit you've never seen before. He gets a hold of a cop's gun, puts it at his head, pulls the trigger, and the bullet stops. So then Jonathan is with a guy named Muhammad Abdul. And he says, get him out the prison. So Muhammad Abdul, who's an African dude, walks up and he starts doing this weird shit and sets the prison on fire. And this stand comes out. It looks like a Egyptian like bird. So they're fighting. And this thing behind Jotaro, that's his stand called Star Platinum. The only thing we know at this point is that he's super fast. Fast enough to catch a bullet coming out of a gun when it's pointed directly at his head. That's how fast Star Platinum is. So he gets him out the prison, and then Jonathan says, look, I don't know what it is, but in our bloodline, we have something called stands. And it's awakened in our bloodline. So I have to educate you about this because there's something going on. He gets him out, right? This motherfucker on the right side of the screen, Dio Brando, right? They pull a coffin up out at the end of one of the episodes. They pull a coffin up out of the ocean and it has Dio's name on it. I said, okay. Dio's alive. And I'm saying, how the fuck is he alive? Do you know what this motherfucker did? When Joseph died, when Jonathan died, wait. Who was holding Dio's severed head? It was Jonathan. Thank you, Young Dreezy. Jonathan died. Dio was still alive. He decapitated Jonathan and his head wiggled onto Jonathan's body. And he assumed Jonathan's body, hops in a coffin and was in the ocean all that time, healing. So when he erects, when he comes back, that's his relative's body. He stole his body. So when there's power in the bloodline for stands resurrects, he develops a fucking stand. So he's a vampire with stand abilities. And he also had, his stand is called the World. So with Star Platinum, the buildup was Jotaro Kujo. He has a different last name because his mother's Japanese. And he's very rude, by the way. Women love him. There was a scene where they were on an airplane and he walks to, because something was happening on the plane and the plane was crashing. So he's walking to the cockpit and these women was like, oh my God, he's so handsome. And he says, move it, bitches. And literally pushes him out the way. It was the funniest goddamn thing. That shit was funny. So anyway.
Wow, I never seen this, but it's kind of reminded me a little bit of Tekken. Cause Jin, he got that demon like bloodline.
Yeah, it's similar.
His grandma, but on his grandma's side.
Yeah. This right here is way better. I promise you. But you got to start from the beginning, because this is long, right? So then, the reason why his last name is Kujo is because his mother's Japanese, right? So the buildup was Jotaro versus Dio. Now, people was trying to figure out why Dio is so powerful, other than the fact that he's a vampire. You find out what his stand ability is. It's the biggest fucking cheat code in the world, and which is the name of his stand, the gold thing over there. So his uncle figures it out, because by then the dudes that they were with, the other stand users, Dio done mauled them niggas. They're dead, right? There was a little dog named Iggy. He was a stand user. It was crazy. Another thing that's unique about the stands and everything in this series, the unique thing is a lot of the stands, they are named after songs or music bands. The Joestar family, their company is called Speedwagon. That's a music group. In the later episodes in the comics, because this is also a comic book, there's a stand user called Notorious Big. I'm not kidding. They're named after rappers. There's a stand called Sticky Fingers. Yes, named after the rapper. I'm serious. It's crazy. That's why I love this series. So, Bert, it's named after bands, singers, and rappers. And when the cartoon's going off, matter of fact, I think the 4th series, when the series is ending, every episode, they're playing Jodeci. It's crazy. So when he's fighting Dio, he's like, oh shit. They figured out, you know what his stand's ability is? He could stop time. How do you beat that? He could only stop time for about like 12 seconds or 10 seconds, right? So it came a point where he's fighting Jotaro. He says, all right, I'm gonna stop playing with this guy. He would say the world, and time would freeze. And while time is frozen, he can move through time. So he walks up to Jotaro, and the world is so strong, he could punch a hole in you. So he punches Jotaro, he flies into a lamppost and falls. Thought he killed him. So when time continued, he turns around and Jotaro's getting up off the floor. He's like, what the fuck? He says, okay, maybe I missed. He froze time again. He said, what the fuck? So then he punched him again. And then he was like, ain't no hole in this dude. Why is he still alive? And he looked down and he saw Star Platinum's arms guarding him. He said, Star Platinum. He said, how? Come to find out, right? There was this nigga Dio, at the height of the fight, Anthony, what up? He grabbed a goddamn bulldozer and went to drop it on the motherfucker. Thought he killed him, right? And then you see time freezing again. So I'm watching the cartoon like, oh man, here this nigga go. But then Dio slows down and he looks, and then Jotaro gets up and punches Dio in the legs, breaks his legs, and punches his head off. You find out that Jotaro's stand, Star Platinum, does the same thing that his grandfather stand does. That's really his grandfather's stand, the world, because he stole his body. But Star Platinum has the same abilities, but it's stronger. You didn't find that out. He didn't realize it until the end of the series. That was the dopest thing I ever seen. You seen time slow down, and Dio's like, why is time slowing down? I didn't do that. And Jotaro got up off the floor, broke his legs, and punched this nigga head off. And he said, yo, the ending was the funniest goddamn thing I ever seen. The nigga says, all of this happened because you pissed me off. Nigga, I fell out my damn seat. That was the funniest goddamn thing I ever, man. He punched his head off, bro. Game over.
I got this one out. I never checked this one out.
This is also a video game. All the characters are in the video game, bro. It's a cel-shaded 3D game. And they have the voice actors from the cartoon. They have the special finishes from the comic and cartoon. It's great, bro. It's great. This is a great series. Melvin, it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And you gotta watch it like from the beginning, because it don't get to these stands until the third series. It goes from I think Jonathan, Joseph, and then by the time Joseph meets Jotaro, Joseph is old. So it goes through several. It goes from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up into the 2000s. I think Jotaro got a daughter. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, man. So you definitely got to check this out, bro. You definitely got to check this out, man. It's deep, but this fight right here, I was like, yo, this shit here was crazy. Jotaro Kujo versus Dio Brando. So let's go. Get it, fam. Oh, shit. Nameless versus Sky. You on mute, Act. I think you mute. You mute. It's not working. Oh shit, he fell off. Yeah, he'll get back. Oh yeah, Bert. You know what? He kissed his shorty. It pissed him off. Yeah, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If you, it's on Netflix. Start from the beginning. Don't jump around, because if you jump around, it's gonna look weird to you. And the way they draw the characters, like the style of dress and everything, it's gonna bug you out. It's gonna bug you out. But wait, hold on. Oh shit. I don't know what happened to Act. Wait, hold on. I don't want to get to talking about this until I just text him to make sure his sometimes you'll be cooking and then your internet will fail you. Should be crazy. But this was yeah, Kondo. This is it's an ill series, bro. Yeah, Gnarly Ray. Yeah, the artwork is dope. It's a comic book too. It's a manga series too. Oh, Melvin, yeah, when the females escape the prison, that's I think that's the latest series. You got to go back to when it was Jonathan. Oh, yeah, it's the internet's acting up. I figured that. You got to go back to the if you go to Netflix, I think the very first season is on there. The stands don't come later. That was like in like the third season. You got to go back to how Jonathan came from this rich family and how they met Dio and his family adopted Dio. It's crazy. It's crazy. But pay attention to the names in there. There's a lot of things in there named after rappers, rock bands. In the manga, this is crazy. The character in the manga named Notorious B.I.G., if I remember correctly, that stand, if I remember correctly, I have to research it again, but I think the dude had to kill himself to activate his stand, and it's in the ocean. And I said, why the fuck they do that? That's crazy. There's a guy that has a stand. You know what his stand's name is? His stand's name is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. That's a song. Yeah, Village Brother, there's a stand called Purple Rain. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Oh, there you go. You back?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. So we're up to Nameless versus Sky.
Yes, sir. Oh, I love this movie as a kid. This one of the first DVDs I had also. Nameless versus Sky. Basically, Nameless is really out to kill the king. And the king is asking him basically like who he assassinated and things like that. And Nameless is basically I forgot how you say the name in Japanese. I probably remembered as a kid because I watched it all the time. And Donnie Yen is Sky basically, and they're fighting in the courtyard. And I remember he's asking the old man before they fight to basically like play, a song as they fight or whatever. And the fighting choreography and everything in this film is just amazing. It was hard for me to pick between this and Fearless, Drew. It was very, very hard, but I didn't want to be doing overkill on Jet Li, because Jet Li is another one. He could have had his own top 5 by himself if we really was to go there. And a lot of credit to both the guys. They always act well and fight well off of each other, Jet Li and Donnie Yen. You know what I mean? And basically he tells the king this, but I know he's basically telling the king to get closer to him so that he could try to assassinate the king. because he's telling the story, of how the fight went between him and Scott, the dude named Nameless, whatever. I believe he's an assassin. So this is a dope. I'm pretty sure all of y'all watched it. A lot of y'all in here is older than me. Y'all probably was grown when it came out. So I know you guys were able to absorb it better. I always rewatch films that I grew up off of now as an adult, so I could get a better understanding of it. You got any comments, Drew, on this?
Man, I remember watching the advertisement for this film. Remember the scene where Jet Li was walking down the steps and that army was surrounded him, but they wasn't close to him and had their spears out?
Mm-hmm.
I said, what the F is this? He must be nice with it. I went to see the movie off of that scene right there. It goes to show you marketing is something else. I said, God damn. But this fight right here, I think this was one of the first things I seen Donnie Yen performing. I think. No, it wasn't. This was the second thing. Damn, there's another fight. Bro, listen. Donnie Yen had a movie called Legend of the Wolf. Did you see that?
No, I don't think I did. No, I didn't.
Bro, the fight scenes in there was so damn ridiculous. But I've never screamed at the top of my lungs. So, yo, Donnie Yen is nice, bro. He's nice with it. Bro, listen, man. And then when I seen him in this, I'm like, man, Donnie Yen versus Jet Li, man. This fight right here, bro, man, I'm just thinking of shit that 10 does not do this list any justice at all, bro. It really doesn't. It really doesn't, man. Jet Li could have a list on his own. Donnie Yen could have a list on his own. You know what I mean? This right here was epic, bro. This was epic. This was epic, man. Oh my gosh, man. I mean, I don't know what else to add on this, man. This was insane.
It was. How they fought on the water. They was walking on water, Drew.
Yeah.
They was damn near deities. They got deified.
Yeah, man. Yo, bro. When they did they walked on water, bro. They walked on the water.
And shoot, the dude stood on the sword, and it was crazy. This whole scene was out of control, man. Exactly.
This is what Kondo says. It was rare seeing them fight each other. This was a matchup fans wanted. Exactly, bro. Exactly. This was like, this was the what if moment. You understand? It was like, oh shit. What if? You know what I mean? It was like, oh man. This was special. This was special.
As a kid, I always loved Jet Li. It was always hard between me picking Jackie Chan and Jet Li. I grew up off of those guys. And
yeah, man.
My bracket did too. And people even that's a little bit older than me. Because, Jackie Chan, he was always a dude that did his own stunts. They always, even as a baby, I knew that. They always threw that in my face. Jackie Chan do his own stunts. And you know what I mean? And stuff like that. And
Yo, Tiago says this is Tank versus Devin.
Wait, so who's Jet Li?
Yeah, exactly. Yo, bro. It's like it's a fantasy fight. That's the joke. Fantasy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I see what he's coming with.
It's like, yo, it's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But
and
hell yeah,
what?
man.
It's funny that you say that because he's telling the king this, but we don't know if that actually happened because he's just telling the king.
He's telling the story,
to
right?
Get close to him so that he could assassinate him.
Yup.
So that the king could trust him.
You don't know if Sky's dead. You don't even know if the fight even happened.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. That's
you don't
why
know.
They always say in the movie, if you read the plot, did he? Or did he? Did Nameless really kill Sky? So,
you know what I thought was going to happen? I thought he was going to get close to the king. And while they're fighting, I thought Sky would come out and help him. Like he wasn't really dead. But Junior Syriac, I don't want to destroy your name. Yes, brother. I'm gonna cover that, brother. That's the boxing anime. Yes, sir.
Yes,
This is-
yes, yes. Yo, I've been trying to get those DVDs for years now.
Bro.
One of them that a site that I try to get it at, they only got it in French. I try to get this in Baki. They want a lot of bread for Baki.
Yo,
I just
Baki,
worked at the
nigga.
first season. They want a lot of bread for that. This is dude in Canada selling it. I was like,
Bro.
but I don't want it if it's in French.
Nah, I want that shit in English, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna learn Japanese. I know some shit, but I don't know everything. So let's move it along. Continue, bro. If you don't know about this, there's two versions of this, but we're gonna focus on this one.
Yes. This is the 2018 one. Goku and Vegeta versus Broly. Broly and his dad got put on a different planet, but it was seen even when he was younger of his potential, like his power level over 3,000. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, you know, if he would have grew up with his race and the planet Vegeta would have never got blown up, how powerful would he was still powerful enough, because even in base form, Vegeta and Goku couldn't do anything with him, and he wouldn't do anything at first. They had to Frieza had to kill his father in front of him for him really to get mad and get to that level. And Vegeta and Goku had the was it Vogito that fought him, or Gogeta?
It was, it may have been Gogeta.
Gogeta, okay, it was Gogeta. They had the fusion together and battle this guy. That's how powerful he was. And he wasn't even a Super Saiyan yet. When he was at Super Saiyan level, he's just ridiculous. You know, Broly. So he really is the legendary Saiyan. Like they said, the first one was really good too, in the fight scenes and that too. But I really like this 2018 one because they give you more of the background story. Drew, you got any comments?
Yeah, like I said, we're gonna focus on this one because this was like a rehash, but it was equally as good. This was a rehashed version of Broly. For those of you that are not familiar, just to give you a brief, let me just put it in perspective for you guys, so you guys understand. Broly to Saiyans are like, Saiyans is the race, you know, Goku, Vegeta. They're like evil Kryptonians. They're like savages, and they took over planets and shit. But they got overpowered by this little white cracker-looking alien, and the only power that he had over them is that, hey man, I can launch a bomb and blow your planet up. So do what I say.
Hello, monkeys.
Frieza. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually, ain't that from that movie?
That's from the Bardock movie. But Broly, let's say on average, the average baby is helpless, has no strength, can't even move and turn his head. Now imagine a baby born immediately standing up and bench pressing 500 pounds. That's Broly. A Super Saiyan. And they're saying that every so often a Super Saiyan comes about and he can't be stopped. Well, Goku and Vegeta, and Goku's like the greatest fighter like ever. He's the smartest one, and Vegeta is pulling up the rear right there. They had to do the fusion. They did the fusion dance to form Gogeta, right?
Yeah, because they didn't have the earrings.
They didn't have the earrings, so they did the fusion dance. Fusion is when you do this like a dance and you merge with the person and you form one being.
Yeah, I have to do everything exact though. You can't be off key or off beat 1 second.
if you're off key or off beat, you fuck it up.
Turn into like a fat dude. And
yeah, you turn into a fat nigga and be bouncing all over the place. So they get it right. They form Gogeta and they battle Broly. And this fight was retarded. I mean, these things couldn't exist on a planet because half the planet will be destroyed. You know what I mean? These guys be knocking over mountains and all kinds of weird shit. Broly's that dude. Broly's that dude. You know, do your research. All right. Let me speed this along because we're limited on time. And I kind of did save the best for last, y'all. Tong Lung versus Colt. Y'all thought I was gonna leave Bruce Lee off this list? Come on, I'm not crazy.
I love the warming up, even the warming up scene in this show. I gotta say, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Bruce Lee looked it like a freaking featherweight. You know what I'm saying? He looked it in great shape.
Yo, I'm gonna say this.
Featherweight boxer. He was ripped.
Nobody has more information about Bruce Lee than the Sensei Stormy B-Man. He got a lot of information. He connected a lot of dots, and a lot of the shit I don't think he could put out here. Because I think, I don't know, the Chinese mafia will be, you know, he'll get on live one day on one of his Kung Fu Film Focus. He'd be like, hey, Drew, you saw all those Chinese people in my chat? What the fuck were they saying? Like, yo, bro, don't be online no more. Just give it a rest, man. I think they watching. You done said some shit about Bruce. Tong Lung, you're a brave man. For those of you that haven't seen Return of the Dragon, Bruce Lee played a guy named Tong Lung. He goes to Rome, Italy, at the request of a family friend or something to that effect. He goes there because the Chinese restaurant is being harassed by these mafioso dudes. And he goes there as like a bodyguard. So for a while, you know, his when he gets there, the waiters and stuff, they start learning karate to fight off these goons. Right? And it wasn't working. They were getting their ass kicked. So Tong Lung comes up in there and he beats their ass by himself. They was like, you know, fuck the karate. It's funny. Bruce Lee was low-key shitting on Japanese in his films, man. He's shitting on Japanese and Chinese connection. He shit on karate in Return of the Dragon. It was funny. So he starts teaching them kung fu and stuff. And then the famous scene where he whips out the nunchucks, and the nunchucks became signature to Bruce Lee. So the mob decides to call America for a guy named Colt, who's a karate champion, played by, you guessed it, Chuck Norris. Colt comes to Italy, and he goes into the office, and you see a white guy fighting a Japanese guy, trying to break it up. So Colt walks in, and the white guy backs off. The white guy is played by Bob Wall, right? And he walks up and he says, Sensei. He says, yeah, Bob's my student. And then the Japanese says, who can do karate better than Japanese?
Facts.
And Colt walks up to him and whoops his ass in seconds. So that straightened that out. So they hired Colt. Hold on a second, y'all. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Yeah, y'all. He tuned him up real quick. Oh, okay. I was going.
Yeah. So he meets Tong Lung in the Colosseum in Rome. They fight. Like Axe said, man, the warm up was ridiculous. You know, Bruce does this lat spread. It's epic, and they warm up. So Bruce, Tong Long and Colt start fighting, and Colt start whooping his ass. So then he jumps up and he says, all right, you done knocked blood out my mouth, okay. So then he starts dancing. And then the music kicked in. He started boxing, y'all. He was light on his feet.
Ali, you see them feet? He started dancing.
He started dancing on his ass. And then he started kicking Colt's ass. And then it got so bad to the point where Colt tried to emulate what he was doing. He started bouncing up and down, got him out of his element, beat his ass. So then Colt leaps in and he was like, you know what? He done broke his wrist, broke his leg, but Colt wanted to die honorable death. Lunged in at him and he had him in a front chokehold and broke his neck, killed him. But this right now, I gotta imagine that if Bruce didn't pass, some way, because Chuck Norris's career took off. You know, Chuck Norris is Chuck Norris, and I gotta imagine that Chuck would have invited Bruce to star in a film alongside of him, or they did a rematch where Bruce had to take the L. You know what I mean? But I would have loved to have seen it. You know, but this right here is epic, man. Your thoughts on this fight? You're on mute, Act.
Oh, my bad. You want?
Yeah.
Well, as far as like this scene, I think that it was one of the best in martial arts pictures history. Even I've seen it a million times. You know, because a lot of my predecessors, the people before me, you know what I mean, put that in my head. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you gotta watch this one. This one was Way of the Dragon, right?
Way of the Dragon, yeah. Way of the Dragon, Return of the Dragon, whatever, you know. Yeah, Way of the Dragon, yeah, Way of the Dragon.
And I just always thought it was epic. And then to see, you know, Chuck Norris, a young Chuck Norris, too, was something, because by the time I was around, I always remember old Chuck Norris, Texas Ranger, you know what I mean? And, you know, my mom used to watch the reruns and stuff like that. So, you know, it's always dope to watch Bruce Lee do his thing. And like I said, Bruce Lee, he looked it in crazy shape. Yeah, I think Bruce Lee was a $140, whoever said that in the chat. I said, but he looked, though. He looked like a featherweight boxer. He just seemed that way. I think by the time he passed away, he got real small.
Yeah.
You know, around there. So, Bruce Lee's always going to be legendary. There's always going to be people emulating and simulating the style. You got video games and
I think they even put him in the last UFC game, didn't they?
Yeah. They put him in there. Yup.
Sure did.
You know what I mean? Which I think was, you know, kind of crazy. But, you know, you got characters that's based off them, like Fei Long and Street Fighter and Martial Law and Tekken.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They even move and do everything like them. They even do the wall, you know what I mean? All of that, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Bruce Lee can never be forgotten. And I remember maybe a few years back, there was this little baby kid, you know what I mean, that did Kung Fu. He was doing all of the scenes and stuff just like Bruce Lee. I forgot what the kid. He older now. But it was like a few years back. You know what I mean? He went viral on the internet. It was this little Chinese kid.
Yeah, he was doing the moves and shit.
Yeah, he was with the nunchucks and all.
Yes, he went viral for a minute. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And he do push-ups on his hands and everything. Yo, that little kid, he gotta have been a Shaolin monk.
You seen them dudes? That shit is real.
Yeah, it is. If you watch a documentary on it. They got a documentary on it.
That shit crazy.
Like what they gotta go through and what they gotta sacrifice. being, you know what I mean, not to the world and stuff like that. Reject women and certain other things they gotta reject. Drinking and other things, you know. So, you know, lot of credit, you know what I mean, to Bruce Lee. You know what I mean? He kinda changed things. Certain people come around and they change things, and Bruce Lee is one of those people that changed everything. And he actually, to me, paved the way for others who I came up off of that, you know what I mean, appreciate him to this day. Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, you know, they all appreciate Bruce Lee.
Hell yeah.
What he did.
Jackie Chan was in Into the Dragon for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't know he was acting since he was so young like that. I watched this old film, him and Jet Li. I think I watched a film where maybe Jackie Chan was about like 18 years old. I watched a film with Jet Li. He looked like he was about 15. Like, they've been doing this all like half their lives. Like,
they've been at this for a long time. Niggas don't know. And that scene in Enter the Dragon, when Bruce grabs the dude by his hair and breaks his neck. You remember that scene? When they were trying to jump him and he had to do in the arm lock. Yeah. He had him by the hair, and then they zoomed in on Bruce's face and he goes, and he broke his neck. Mm-hmm. That was Jackie Chan.
Wow. He started as a stunt man?
He was an extra in Bruce's film. That was Jackie Chan. If you go watch that scene and slow it down, that's him. He says it. He said, yeah, that was me. I was like, oh shit. He knew him. Bro, listen, if you want a Bruce Lee education, Stormy's the guy. And there's a lot of mystery behind what happened with Bruce, but there's things in between that, you know, not too many people can mention. And, you know, I believe you can talk about it, but, you know, you can just brush it off like, oh, these just those black Americans trying to put shit together. But are we really?
Yeah, you can't be Asian saying that.
Yeah, you can't be Asian saying that. We just in the States just talking shit, you know, or are we? But yo, man, this was dope, good brother, man. And I apologize to y'all because, you know, we only picked 10, but we know there's millions, man. And I see everyone in the chat. Jiren versus Goku, Future Trunks versus Android, the androids.
Yes.
Gohan versus Cell. And that's just Dragon Ball alone. There's mad other fights, man.
And like I said, Fearless as an honorable mention.
Yo, Ip Man versus Mike Tyson in the movie.
For beating up his student, and he ended up killing him.
Yeah.
And then he came back and killed Jet Li's family.
Yup.
So yeah, like it's a lot of
Yo, Ip Man versus Mike Tyson.
Yes, sir.
Come on, bro. We left a lot. There was a what was the name of that film with Michael Jai White? With the Asian chick.
Which one?
Oh man, but he was nice in that film too. That shit was crazy. Oh yeah, Rampage. We could do a whole show on Fist of the North Star. Kenshiro versus Val.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
We gotta do Berserk too.
Oh, bro, I purposely left Berserk off of here.
What, he fight a whole army? And he
listen.
Dead, but
I'm gonna do a show.
100 dudes.
I'm gonna do a show called The Most What the Fuck Endings in Any Genre. In Berserk, the ending, I was like, what? That happened?
Drew, I couldn't believe how that went down. Like, he got the girl and everything, and then
nope,
like homeboy hated on him, and it just went south.
Bro, how you get raped by demons? That's some next level shit. I was in my fucking I was like looking at the screen, like, what is happening here? Yo. You know what? We can do that. Let's do that next week. Most what the fuck endings.
Okay.
In films. Any genre. Like, what is this? They really gonna do this? Yo, if y'all never watched Sort of Berserk, bro, the way that shit ends, I was like, this is what they're gonna do? They're gonna leave me hanging? This is what they're gonna do?
Man. He should at least been able to keep the girl.
Nope.
He should at least been able. Dang, like he already had a messed up life. Bred to be a warrior. Gambino treated him like dirt.
Bro.
Like gum beneath his shoe.
You ever watch Legend of the Overfiend?
No, I haven't.
My brother. Listen, I wonder about some of those people that do these animes, man. These dudes be pervs, man.
Yeah.
Yo, I saw when I was younger, and I was like, that demon kind of looks like a penis.
Oh shit!
What is that?
You crazy?
And then it would launch out and split a whole woman in half. I was like, what are they doing in this? What's going on here?
We gotta do Ninja Scrolls.
Oh man, Ninja Scrolls, we gotta do that.
I like that big dude that had that boomerang sword thingy that he had. Yo, Drew, I would have been in the, even if you was in them trees and you was ahead of him, he had such an accuracy that he chopped all. That dude scared me as a kid.
Yo,
Dad, he about to rape this girl.
Bro, you know what? We might do that next week. What the fuck? It don't have to be endings. It's just like what the fuck moments in movies. Yeah, what the fuck moments. Like you did not know that it was gonna go there. Yo, LeBron, what's good, brother? Let me mention my brother up. Hey, bro, I'm gonna hit the chat with this. I'm gonna bro. Now you know what? Not even gonna say anything. Next week, most what the fuck moments in any genre, anime, movies, television, anything, something that threw you off that you did not see coming. And I'm talking about the most popular what the fuck moment in the world was Vader telling Luke that he's his father.
Said,
that set it off. That set it off.
I ain't gonna lie, I love that. I actually like that ending too, because it's like Luke, come to me, like he's talking to him in the window, and that's the first time Vader didn't even say anything at the end of the movie. Then he like walks away. He's like, "Father," and he, you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yup. I saw that in the movies. Like I actually saw it in the movies. And when he says, he killed he said, did Obi-Wan tell you about your father? He said, yeah, he told me you killed him. He says, no.
Luke,
I'm your father.
I met
and then the beat dropped.
Baby. I gotta find that picture.
Yo, we was in the theater like, oh shit, what? And he was like, no. Yup. Yeah, nigga. That nigga jumped off. I don't know what that was. That nigga must have fell like 8 million feet into a hole. That shit was hilarious, bro.
Why everybody in the family gotta get their hands chopped off? Except the girls. The girls, you straight. The girls are straight. It's like you gotta be a female to keep all your limbs. But if you a dude, just know, if you related to the Skywalkers, your hand is coming off, bro.
You losing it.
Left or right, it don't matter. You're losing your hand. That's facts.
Yo, if you a Skywalker, you losing a digit. You losing something. Oh my God. Yo, man, I gotta get out of here, man. Yo, bro, let them know how they can find you, good brother.
Yo, man, y'all could subscribe to the Jab Jamboree, y'all know, and also my nerd channel, my comic book channel, Comic Cons with a K, both of them with a K, Comic and Cons with a K, and subscribe to that. Man, I'm gonna go live tomorrow. I'm gonna be talking about the best video game consoles and games.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean? So I gotta do that for the gamers. You know what
Hell
I mean?
yeah,
so
brother.
Be talking about from, you know what I mean? Shoot, my mom came up off of Atari. She loved Pac-Man. But,
bro. Yeah, bro. I'm gonna get. We're gonna get to the video games here soon. We're gonna get to it soon.
So,
But yeah, hell yeah, man. Yo, thank you for sliding through, good brother.
no problem,
And
bro.
we'll be here next week. If you're available, whatever. But we'll do top what the F moments in any genre. We'll do that. Know what I mean? So yeah, man. Salute Act, man. Thank you for sliding through. You already know what time it is. We in the Cave, episode 3. You know what I mean? We're here every Friday. We got to give boxing a rest. Unless it's a super fight, something worth watching. But salute to Arthur Beterbiev. I read something. I'll talk about that some other time. But it is what it is, man. Salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelle, the Cash App. Like and share this video. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna push this channel. We're gonna push Axe channel and all my brothers and sisters that I'm assisting. You know what I'm saying? Because there's enough out here for everybody to get it, man. Salute to everybody. Much love. And we in the cave, y'all. Salute to the mighty, mighty LDBC. And I'll see y'all soon.